All right. Hello there. Welcome back. So today I wanted to show you what I have in my pencil case and my pen tin. And these usually stay on my desk, but when I go out, I usually choose one or the other. And then I mix and match what I need to take with me if I'm going to be taking my planner or my journal out with me into the wild. So, first of all, I just wanted to say I still have a bit of a chest cold, so if I'm wheezing, I'm really sorry. And I will try to keep the coughing to a bare minimum. Right, so I think I've maxed out my pots and mugs for my pens. I have many cases which houses a lot of my other pens. This is just basically my go-to stuff that I use on a regular basis. And I kind of like to give everything, because I like to collect pens and I love pens so much, I like to give my pens a purpose. So I tend to use them for different things, and then I just kind of go with the flow of whatever I fancy doing. I usually have this little kind of glass tray. It's a nice little butterfly. I've had it for years, and I have that on my desk because the bulkier items tend to stay in this. But if I'm going out and about, then I will pick and choose the things that I may need of the bulkier items to place in my pencil case. So I've had this one for a few years now. It's a Hello Kitty. I can't remember where I picked it up. I have a feeling it was in Minnesota in Turkey a few years back. Hello Kitty is a personal mascot of mine. We go way back. But in any case, it's a decent sized case, and it's kind of see-through as well, so it's easy to see what I have in here at a quick glance, which is why I like to keep my most used pens in here. And then I recently picked this one up from the airport in Turkey when I was traveling back to London in September. And I just want to see if I'm in. Yeah, I'm in frame. And yeah, I actually bought this because of the tin. But it had like an assortment of Turkish delights in them, which were lovely. But yeah, I really love the design of this, and I wanted to have it as a keepsake, and I didn't know if I would come across it again. I'm not sure when I'm going back to Turkey. So I thought, yeah, it's a bit pricey. It was a bit expensive, but worth it in my opinion, because I can use it forever, basically. So that's that. So yeah, basically what I have this really neat ruler. I think I got this from Tiger. I don't know when. But it's pretty cool. But recently I've been smudging when I've been making margins and stuff. It's really annoying me, but it is what it is. So I'm just going to have to get better at it. And then I have some old paper chase kind of translucent sticky note tabs. These are great for kind of highlighting over a particular section of a book, a passage, or just giving myself a quick little tab to be able to flip to it another time. My hubby bought these for me this weekend, actually. I didn't realise that he did, but he was like, oh, I got you some little tabs, and I was like, oh, that's so cute. I can't remember what brand it is because I actually tore off the top part. But these are really cute, and I'm enjoying using them throughout my planner. This is just one of those kind of clips. I've realised that actually it's no good using this in my smaller kind of planners and notebooks, because it is quite strong, so it's a tight grip and it leaves a mark. But I'm not sure at the moment. I'm not really using it, but I did try to use it the other day and I noticed the mark and I just left that off. And I've got something like a rubber, I've got a tape runner, I've got some whiteout kind of runner as well. I prefer these in the pens, because they're not wet, so they go over really easily. Thin strip of washi, another little kind of like brass tab thingy. These, I only recently bought these and they're really amazing. I think I might get a second pack. My husband's little pencil sharpener. Well, it's a lead sharpener really for his mechanical pencil, which I need to give to him. And yeah, I think that's about it that I've got in here. Yeah, that's it. In my pencil case, am I still in frame? Yeah, kind of in frame. So I'm just gonna take everything. Well, shall I? I might just do them bit by bit. So I know the groups of things that I have. I really like these pens by Pentel, the Energel, and I think these are the 07s. These remind me, if you're in the UK, you probably know the sweeties called fruit salads. They remind me of the fruit salad colours. And I tend to use this if I'm writing a lot in black ink. I tend to kind of use this to underline or circle, or, you know, just leave a little, you know, dot or a marker to kind of get my attention to a piece of writing. So they're really good. I've used them for like a good couple of years now, and there's still so much ink left, and they work so nice and they write so well and smoothly. So I really love those. The next lot I will quickly rifle through to pull out. Do I have the whole gang in here? Let's have a look. I don't think I've got all of them in here, but they are. Yeah, okay. So the next lot are these pens. These are the Uniball erasable gel in the 07s as well. These are good. I think I have a green one as well and a pink one. So these pens are really good. When I need to kind of like have the reassurance, if I'm making plans, you know, when they say pencil in something into your diary, well, I use these to pencil in if I am, you know, going to be meeting up with someone and whatnot. Sometimes the time, the date may change, so it's good to be able to use these to rub them out and, you know, re-enter that in. So these are really good. They're lasting up really well, and they're really nice to write with as well. And then I have this group. They're just nicely sitting out there. Colour on Colour. I think I picked this up from a bookshop. Maybe I want to say Foyles on Tottenham Court Road. I think I picked this up as a set of 3. And then they're like felt tip ends. And then they have another colour as a fine tip. And I'm using the fine tips to actually make, you know, like the lines for my margins. So yeah, they work out pretty well. Sometimes I write with these if I need to write like a kind of something in bold, if you will, something quickly. I will choose one of these to do that. And sometimes just to underline things as well and whatnot. Both ends. I don't, you know, just strictly stick to fine tip for that kind of stuff. I'll leave some of my fountain pens to a side for a moment. And then I have these ones. I've had these for absolutely years. I think I picked up the first pack online, and then I saw them in Liberty, in the stationery section of Liberty. I do have more of them, but I've split them up. So I come and go from Turkey at least once a year, and rather than like carrying loads of stuff, and just so that I could travel a bit more light, I have a trunk in Turkey, and that has a lot of other pens and stationery and things like that, so I don't have to take everything with me when I go, and I have a decent stash there when I'm there. So this is just like, I would say 1/3 of them, and these are really nice as well. They are the stylophile, and they're by the Iconic brand. I've had these for years. They are amazing. They're so pigmented in their muted colours even. And I would say they're pretty accurate to the colour that's displayed on the barrel here. But yeah, it's a two-way pen. So you've got like a chisel tip on one end, and then you've got a fine tip on the other. And I tend to I sometimes make headers with these and titles. And then, you know, sometimes I even write with the fine tip. It all depends on my mood, really, what I fancy doing with that. And then I have, what have we got left? So we have these, I can show you these highlighters actually. So these highlighters I picked up from Tiger, and I love the colours, but really, I don't really have like this type of colour, if you will. as a clickable, but it's so good. They don't dry out because they have an end that, you know, kind of encases it when it's clicked back in. I don't know how long they'll last. They are quite faint, which is nice. So they're not overbearing in colour, which is lovely. But it just adds a hint of colour to the page. So sometimes I might just highlight a section, let it dry, and then I'll go over the top with it. So I really like these as well. And then just last but not least, I have a pencil. It's a double-ended pencil. So I have one that is like just regular lead, and then this is like a mixture of colours. I'm just having a look. Can you see? Yeah. So this is like a mixture of blue, pink, green and yellow, which is quite fun to write with. Sometimes I just want to write with a chunky pencil. So I picked this up at the Natural History Museum again, maybe a couple of years ago. But yeah, that's my kind of go-to pencil to write with if I want to write. It's quite a dark lead, so I don't press too hard when I'm writing with it. And then I recently picked this up, actually picked this up on the weekend, excuse me. This is a Pilot V-Ball 0.5 pure liquid ink. You'll see in my tin as well that I have quite a few of variations of this type of pen, and it tends to be a barrel that's like this, and it will be full of ink. They are on the pricier side, but I think it's worth it because I haven't yet to run out of ink when I've, you know, used these. I have other sets I'll show you. So that's usually with me because it's nice to have a pen, a black pen that writes smoothly on any paper surface. Again, sorry, excuse me. Oh, need a little sip of my coffee. And then lastly, it's just my old Apple pencil. This is like one of the earlier generations. It's quite battered, but in the past I've put it in a safe space and I've forgotten where I've put it, so I keep it in my pencil case because it's just, you know, my brain just thinks, oh, where's my Apple pencil? Oh yeah, it must be in my pencil case. So that's why it kind of goes everywhere, even though I don't take my iPad everywhere. It's just nice to know that it's nice and safe. And then my beloved fountain pens. So I will talk about fountain pens in more in depth later in another video. I will create one especially for them because I have such a love for fountain pens, and I would say that I've only started to collect these in the last 2 to 3 years, but I do use them, and I like to get things that are different from each other, whether it is a style or whether it is a nib. But they are really useful to have like variety of them because I'm also collecting the inks, like the ink wells. So it's nice to have ones that I can obviously change out the inks to and whatnot. But ideally, what I've decided to do, just as a little spoiler, is that once I've run out of all my pens, like my writing pens, if you will, and, you know, I'm not going to replace my pens really quickly, if you will. I have such a huge collection. I've decided that it's high time that I use them all, use them up, and then kind of like what I would really love to do is throughout the rest of my life is be more kind of eco-friendly and purchase pens that I can refill easily. But more than anything is that I really enjoy writing with fountain pens. And if you haven't seen already, I name my fountain pens. It's just been something I've been doing for years. I've been doing it since I was a kid. I've actually put the tapes across these ones, but I can't find my permanent marker. So I'm waiting for that to come up from somewhere so that I can actually write the names on these ones. But just briefly, this is Buttercup, and it is a TWSBI Eco Flow. Is it an Eco Flow? Yeah, it is an Eco. So TWSBI Eco, and this is a broad nib, okay? So it's very juicy. It writes beautifully. I like to use this for when I'm writing cards. I tend to use this to write dates because it's nice and bold. And it currently has, I think it's the squid ink that I have in here, the black. And as you can see, it needs a good top up at some point. But yeah, it's a workhorse. I love this. And then I have, this is another TWSBI. In fact, my husband and I bought these together. We ordered these together at the same time, and I got the broad, and he actually got the, I believe, the extra fine. And, you know, I saw it sitting in my pen pot for like ages. And I was like, I don't see him use that anymore. So I picked it up and I started to write with it, and I really enjoyed it. And I was just like, oh, I'm going to claim this, you know. So, you know, I sweetened him up and I was like, can I please have this pen? And he was like, oh, yeah, sure. I don't like writing with it. It's too fine. I was like, yes, thank you so much. And I've decided to name this one Sunset, but I haven't written the name yet. But yeah, this is Sunset. And then this is an older, I believe this may have been the first LAMY that I brought. Yeah, sorry. This is the first LAMY that I bought, and I absolutely love this colour. And this one's honey, and this one actually has orange ink in there. You might be able to see in the little viewfinder there. And yeah, you know, LAMYs are my favourites. I mean, I know that there are so many amazing fountain pens out there, and I know that fountain pen enthusiasts, you know, make the most amazing investments into their fountain pens and whatnot. But I'm not kidding when I say that I would be absolutely happy if all my future fountain pens are LAMYs, and just have various nibs of them, because they are a dream to write with. And again, they write really well on any paper surface. So they are workhorses as well. So that's honey. And then we picked this one up at the weekend, and I've decided to name this one Greenwich, because we picked it up from a stationery store in Greenwich. I believe it was from the Postmark. So if you're ever in Greenwich in London, you know, feel free to stop in there and check out their stuff as well. They've got some lovely kawaii stationery bits as well, and plenty of cards and things. So yeah, this one is going to be Greenwich, and it currently has green ink in it. So I'm really enjoying writing with that. So that's all in this particular pencil case. I'm just going to put everything back. I tend to take these out with me because I never know which one I'm going to really want at the time. And these are like my go-tos on a very regular basis. So yes, that one is done. And then we have this beautiful pen tin. And I adore, this is the Galata Tower. That could be the Süleymaniye Mosque. And then, you know, Istanbul is famous for its trams and things like that. And obviously, you know, birds of all kinds. But yeah, I just really love this tin. It's quite a decent size, so it can hold quite a lot. So let's get into it. So it's good because the actual tin nests into the lid. So it's nice that, you know, I won't lose it when I'm out and about and things like that. So these were the pens that I was talking about that was similar to the Pilot that I showed you. Oh, look, there's the other erasable green. So I want, and there's the pink. There we go. So these ones are in here. And are they in here? Is there any more? Yeah. So like I said, I'll always kind of pick up, and I don't always do it all in one go. So these pens weren't bought like in big batches. I would pick up a colour and then I would find another one and go on like that basically. So I really love the Uniball Eye. The fine, and you have to be careful the ones that you pick up, because if you want, they do have it in different varieties and it's like small print, but I always check that they're waterproof, right, and fade proof before purchasing. I can't remember if this one is but this is a quite juicy purple pen, but these, I mean, these, like, I want to say, I think I have an orange one somewhere around. Anyway, some of my colors I've had for like more than 8 years, like I want to say 8 to 10 years, because, you know, the barrel here is absolutely chocker, and because I rotate the use of my pens, obviously I get so much use out of it. But you can see that this one is almost done, really. It's kind of like down here, the ink level. But you get so much ink in these pens that you really can't go wrong in having a few in your stash if you want something that you can always rely on. It's going to write really well. Definitely do a pen test, because I remember I did pick up one years ago, and it had like quite a scratchy nib, but that was the only one. It was an absolute fluke. But yeah, so I would say test it, but once you have tested it, these will work for a very long time really nicely. And of course, you may be familiar with the Sarasa, the Zebra Sarasa clip in the vintage colours. I believe that from this set I'm missing the blue. I have a feeling it's tucked in to a notebook of mine somewhere. These are really lovely. They are the 05 nibs. They're quite fine. But the ink is very pigmented and it is so lovely to write with. And sometimes I like to kind of write in more vintagey colours, and it just makes it so much nicer to do so. This is a very old Paper Chase fine nib brown pen. I don't have it's kind of like a fine nib, like felt tip and tip, if you will. And it, you know, I was doing a pen test of like older pens the other day, and this one was still working really well, so I figured I'm still going to keep it and I'm going to use it. It is enjoyable to write with. The barrel is slightly thicker, which I enjoy. I don't like super thin barrels. I find it very difficult to write consistently and for long periods of time with it. But yeah, this is a really nice one. And then my other two fountain pens, so this is Crystal, and it's a TWSBI Eco. Oh, it's a TWSBI Go, sorry. And then, yes, and this one has, I think, purple ink but gold shimmer. It's a broad nib, so it's really fun to write massively with this one. And this is Destiny, another LAMY of mine. And Destiny has travelled all over the world with me. Well, I say all over the world, but I wish one day. But when I've gone abroad, Destiny always comes with me. She currently has some black ink, I think, in there, but I've got all sorts of different kind of cartridges as well. So I keep a spare or two with me sometimes. So there you have it. Those are what I usually have, and these are my go-tos, and I really enjoy them. I wish I was a calligrapher or did hand lettering and things like that, because I would probably get more use out of other pens that I have. But I'm just not gifted in that way, and I'm very kind of messy in my approach when it comes to planning and journaling. However, yeah, there we have it. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you've got in your pencil case and what are your go-tos. What do you like to carry with you when you're out in the wild with your planners and journals? I'd love to know. But until then, take care, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.